Let's do it. Let's go. It's another week here at Hyper RPG.
Let's party.
Welcome to HyperCast.
I can't believe those dogs haven't started going crazy yet.
They will.
What a shocker.
Don't worry about it. They will.
Yeah.
What is up, everybody? I am Zach.
My name is Malika.
My name is Lucas.
My name is Kaiju. That's not right.
That's not right.
That's
Huck.
not right.
My name's Huck.
That's
No,
not
it's
right.
It's Adam.
Adam. Yes.
And
Is that real?
I think it's that one.
we are here for week 13, 14 of Camp Social Distance.
Who cares?
We should stop counting.
We should. I mean, it's like we should stop counting, but then right before we went live, there was a Chiron that came up on the TV that was like, most cases around the world of coronavirus in a single day yet. New
Shit.
cases.
I stopped counting when we stopped doing this show consistently.
That's that.
Right.
That's that Memorial Day catching up to us.
Well, it was
Yeah.
around
Was
the
it Labor
world.
Day
I
or
don't
Memorial Day?
know if the rest of the
Memorial
world
Day.
like is necessarily.
Well, I know that there were a lot of places in the U.S. that had their biggest weekend.
Guys, we're
so
in
far.
June.
Jeez.
How did that happen?
So it was like other states are also on the rise.
Yeah.
Man, it's scary because I do feel like I heard some really bad hot takes over the weekend in Malibu. Malika and I went on a quick one-day anniversary vacation, and as
With a mouse.
What?
there was a mouse in our Airbnb.
Just came to hang out,
That's
huh?
cute.
Yeah.
You know,
I love
Malika
mice.
segueing right into that, and we
Kaiju just bumped
as
the
it
camera.
oh Kaiju, what are you doing? Stop it! Get out of there!
We've got
Jesus
a dog.
Christ. You got two dogs.
For
over
anybody
here.
who can't see, we've got two dogs who are down by
It's
the
Huck's
camera.
birthday.
Wait, what?
Oh!
Huck is a year old today.
Where are them
No
cakes?
way.
Since I got him, it's been
Happy
a year.
birthday.
Wait,
Wait,
is
you
basically
what?
I got him a year ago, June 8th.
Fuck you!
No, I did.
What?
Fuck you!
That was a year ago. Welcome to June, guys. Did you realize? I got him on June 8th, and I'll never forget it because I got him the day before June 9th, 6/9. I was like, I'll always remember what day I got Huck. So I saw someone post, like, tomorrow's
You've
June
had that
9.
dog for a year already?
Yep. I've had him for a year, and
Oh
he's
my
still
God.
such an asshole.
Oh man, that
He's learned,
hurts.
like 4 things.
That hurts.
Still anxious.
That makes no sense. My brain cannot comprehend
No,
that. That makes no sense.
Also, should I be able to hear myself? Because I don't hear
You
myself.
need to bring that up way before we go live.
Everybody's way louder than me.
You don't-
No,
you
you're
don't hear
fine. You're
yourself?
fine.
Yeah.
Oh, you just
Huck.
turned off my.
Huck,
yeah,
you've been a part of
you
this
just-
family
you
for
just
a
unplugged
year?
Me. Yeah,
This one's
in the
you?
future, you have to bring that up before we go live. You just unplugged me. This is a fucking mess already. I only
Sorry.
spent 6 hours working on tech this morning.
Huck, how is this possible that you've been in this family for a year?
You unplugged me. No, I'm the one you're messing with, but you unplugged me.
I didn't unplug it.
Yeah, keep coming up.
Scooby-Dooby
Coming up.
Dooby, where
Keep
are
coming up.
you?
Keep coming up?
We've
Yep,
got
there it is.
some
There it
work
is.
to
I can hear
do
now.
How the fuck has it already been a year?
I don't know. Ask him.
Holy shit.
He's really changed.
Has he?
I feel like it's only been since like October or November. Wow. I'm
Yeah.
fucking...
You guys
him in
can
June.
hear me,
I'm
right?
Yeah,
yeah.
we can hear you.
It's just natural to not hear yourself, right?
Not as much.
I'm flabbergasted.
You can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear
Then
you.
you're fine.
Yeah, but you're like way louder than I am.
I mean, that just comes natural.
Okay.
Anyway, getting back to the story that was started a while ago, we went to Malibu over the weekend, and as expected, when I'm riding my bike through all of the places of Los Angeles, everyone's practicing safe social distancing and wearing masks, and the second I get into Malibu, it's like, nah, fuck that, it won't touch us rich people, and nobody's wearing masks and kind of standing really close together, and the
Yep.
shopping areas are really crowded. And I want to say no one. Some people are wearing masks. A lot of stores are still requiring you to wear them, but a lot of people just hanging out without them. And I heard some real hot takes waiting at stoplights and in lines
Yeah.
and things like that. One of which, you know, being that it's very clear coronavirus was a hoax because nobody's talking about it anymore because of Black Lives Matter. And it's clear that we just shifted talking to protest because it was a hoax anyway. I'm like, or we're in more danger now because everyone stopped talking about it because they're talking about the current civil unrest in our country and stopping reminding you about the fact that there's still
We're
a
still in a
global
fucking pandemic.
happening. It's not going. In fact, every time I turn the news, like cases are still on the rise, still
Like,
going
I
up.
think it was last Wednesday. Florida had like 1,200 new cases, and I think every day that I've looked, it's like this many new cases here, this many new
Yeah.
cases there, and it's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? How are you blind to the fact that there's still a pandemic happening? And how can you go out there and try to claim that like it was a hoax? People are still sick.
Well, it's tough, and I feel one of the most complex conversations I've been afraid to have on this channel, and nobody's called us out yet, but I've kind of called myself out, because this argument's happening a lot on Twitter right now, and it's a bad faith argument on both sides. And by both sides, I mean everyone is trying to frame this in a really negative way, where it's like, oh, when people are protesting just to get a haircut, it's bad. And then it's also, they flip it with coronavirus, where like, you didn't care about saving your grandma, but now it's like, and there's a difference between protesting to get your haircut and protesting for police brutality and saving lives.
Yeah.
And that's not, like, both sides of that argument are kind of really not fair, because a lot of people weren't protesting to get a haircut. When that was happening, they were protesting to open their places of business because they don't trust that the government will actually take care of them, and people's lives are being destroyed, and the unemployment rate is over 40 million, and people have a real fear of the economy not reopening. And we were telling them, you got to get over it. Your suffering of economy reasons is not enough to put grandma in danger. And I agree that the protests now are far more important because they're about people's lives. But I've seen a lot of people arguing for that, saying, well, it's about protecting people's lives, it's different, but they fail to mention the whole part about, like, you could still come home and give it to grandma.
Right.
And so it's like, it's a really complex issue, because I think it is a more important protest by far, but it doesn't all of a sudden make it less likely for you to come home from these and not give it to your family members and spread it.
I mean, we saw in LA, people rallied this weekend. There's over 10,000 people on Hollywood Boulevard, which is amazing. But then you also look at that footage and you're like, God, I hope
But
the least amount of people possible got sick.
here's a great thing that because I've been there.
Yeah.
I was there this weekend, and I didn't make it to the one on Hollywood, but it was about that size downtown too. It was just really hard for anybody to take any video or stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were at least 8,000 people there, I would say.
Which is like
It was
unreal.
massive. We shut down the whole city.
Yeah.
But I did not see a single person not wearing a mask, and
Which is great.
There were people handing out masks. There was hand sanitizer everywhere,
Yeah.
and there were also people handing out gloves. And I
Yeah.
was like, how do we have so many gloves, and how are we doing a better job at this than our government has
Yeah.
at giving people these things? Also, for the most part, it was very social distanced as well.
Right.
And I can tell from that video.
You can't really see
you
that.
can't. Well, and it's like, it's very telephoto where it kind of smashes.
Yeah, it's smashing it.
I can tell from that video from Hollywood, people were trying as well.
And I agree with you, but
It's still like, it's unavoidable.
It's unavoidable, especially when people cram together. Like last weekend was far more dangerous because people got kettled together, pushed really close to each other, and they're having to be on top of each other.
It worries me more in other cities where they're having these huge rallies, but their governments have, their local governments have more opened up.
Yeah.
And they're like, mask wearing is a lot less prevalent. So there are people out there, in other areas where they're protesting. There's thousands of people out there not practicing any sort of. Yeah, that's.
But you are
tough.
right. You are right though, because it makes me feel better when I see footage, and I would say the majority of the people on video are wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are also wearing gloves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think but it's a multi-layered, complex issue.
Yeah.
The other really thing that sucks is when cases go up in a couple weeks, because economy opened at the same time, the blame will be put on the protesters.
Yeah.
The Republican Party and Trump especially will blame the protesters, not his own reopening plan or lack thereof.
In Los Angeles, I would say there were more people going to restaurants and bars over the weekend than there were protesting. That's my guess. Because 10,000 people is not a lot compared to Los Angeles overall.
As a whole.
population.
Yeah.
As a whole, and people getting out and doing stuff. And we know that blame's going to get shifted around.
Yeah.
And,
We'll see it. We'll just be aware
and without
of it.
actual tracing in our country, it's really tough. But getting on to the fact that it's a new week at Hyper RPG, we do have a new schedule. Obviously, we're live right now at 4 p.m. with HyperCast, hanging out upstairs as the dogs knock over speakers and fight because we're talking. And if we're talking and not paying attention to them, they fight.
They say "fuck you."
That's great, which is partly why we're on headsets today.
It's actually a performance.
It's a
It is.
performance.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a performance.
Yes. So
They're
we
not
do.
fighting. It's a performance for us. They're feeling left out.
That's right.
If we set up like a little stage up here for them.
Oh, they'd be on it.
Yeah,
them on the table.
they'd be,
I
Wanna come on the
don't
table?
think that's true. I think Huck would sit right in front of Lucas's face and
Lick him to death.
that's it. He would not.
and then Kaiju would jump off, and then we'd be okay.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
We could
Kaiju would
try
get
it.
bored with that really
Hey,
quick.
birthday boy.
we do have a new schedule starting here at Hyper RPG. There's a couple reasons for that. It's a little bit more like our old schedule before all this stuff happened. You know, when COVID very first hit, we started doing content very much early because people were scared. It was a great way for us also to occupy our time and not go crazy. But also, a lot of our business partners, a lot of the work we had to do was put on pause for the most part. Now, with things getting closer to opening up, Malika's got a ton more emails and business things going on. We've all got more work that's opening back up as well. And we can't physically do everything in time to go live earlier. So we had to kind of shift again to be able to get everything done.
We're still starting at the exact same time when it comes to work.
Oh, yeah, work-wise, we're still starting at the same time. We may not be live as much, but work-wise, still up, moving cables and plugging stuff in by 9 a.m. for sure, definitely. And but we're hoping this is a little bit more manageable for us. It does often mean that we're going to have to try to push a little bit faster and harder to reach our goals rather than when we were live for 10 hours a day. Made it a little bit easier to spread those goals out throughout the day. Now we got to kind of rally to hit those goals in. But today we're starting off with HyperCast. This will be a quick one. We'll try to get through it as quick as we can with all the stuff that we want to update you on. And after this, it's going to be relationship goals. Malika and I are playing a game called Moving Out that Malika really wants to play. It's on Switch, and we'll have to work together. And I'm sure that will go over really well.
I mean, or I'll just destroy stuff. I think I could enjoy doing that too. It's a game where you can smash windows.
Great. And after that, we're going to be playing our new Monopoly series, Don't Pass Go. And we have a ton of incentives that are going to be really fun for this Monopoly series. This is going to be weekly. So we're going to play for a couple hours tonight, and wherever we end, we got to take a picture of the board, and that's where we start next week. Because I know there's no way we're going to get through a Monopoly game in one night. And it's going to get mean. It's going to get mean.
How do you win Monopoly? It's been a while. Is it just when
other people will run out of money, right?
everyone else runs out of money?
No, because actually if you get in debt, you can like mortgage your properties and stuff.
Somebody will win Monopoly
Yeah.
when everyone else gives up.
We all know who. We all know who's going to win.
Uh-huh.
Monopoly is notorious for being played wrong by everyone, and we're not here to change that.
Okay. So we will have a lot of different fun ways for
I've
you
never
to interact.
appreciated a tagline for a show more
Yeah.
than that.
There's a warning in newer versions of Monopoly to how to make it not last forever.
I want it to last forever.
But that's
so that when I win, it feels more powerful.
Well, the good news
Week
is
74.
Malika came home with 4 different versions of Monopoly. We're going to start with the first version, and then I think that after we win or someone wins this one,
I would call it the plain version.
the plain version, we're going to move on to like the country divided one where there's voting and things like that.
What?
She has a voice controlled one and also a Sonic the Hedgehog gaming one.
Yeah.
Whatever. Weird. We have a lot of really interesting incentives. I think it'll be a really fun way for us to play a game that a lot of people know so they can interact with it and see how competitive it gets. That'll be today's schedule. The rest of the week is going to be a little loosey-goosey before next week. We do have a schedule in place, but we had to move it around at the last minute because we had a special Twitch job come up on Wednesday that you'll be hearing about soon, hopefully, when we're allowed to fully update you on that. But it's going to be really fun, and Crank Gameplays will be joining us for that on Wednesday. But tomorrow we're going to be doing a live script read after Malika's Magical Menu at 4 p.m., and this script read, you can be voting for right now. Go to oneshot.straylogic.com. Adam, you want to tell them about the choices that are available?
Yeah. I have to pull them up. Didn't I write them in Slack?
You did.
So we got 3 choices for this week, and so we're going to try to pick. I'm going to try to change it up and not pick the same genre every single week because I think that can get boring really, really quick. But for this week, to kind of like spice up the premiere of it, 3 scripts that I thought would be really fun. One I've read parts of, and the 2 others I've never read, even though one of them has been sitting in my inbox for 3 months. But, It is what it is. We've got Dark Justice by Guillermo del Toro. He wrote the original story and the script. I know Doug Liman is one of the writers. It's a project that he was trying to get off the ground for a long, long time. Never came to fruition. Now J.J. Abrams is going to be doing it, and it'll probably be rewritten, all that sort of stuff. So that would be a fun script to explore. Plastic Man, written by the Wachowskis in the 90s, and I think it was the early to mid 90s. No clue what that script has in it. It's probably buck wild. If it's anything like Speed Racer, which probably could have been really cool. And then we have The Star Wars. This is a draft from 1974, so it's definitely one of the more original versions, rough drafts of the Star Wars, where it has characters like Anakin Starkiller and all that sort of stuff. There's a version of that script that was turned into a comic book. I don't know exactly.
The comic book was really fun and really weird.
Yeah, I don't know
It was real weird.
exactly which version that comic book references, but there are several scripts for the original Star Wars that are floating out there on the internet. Some of these were like text files, so I had to copy and paste them into PDF. So they're not formatted properly. They might be a pain in the ass to read.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
man.
we'll get through it. So you can tip for either of those three, and we'll be doing that next Tuesday or
And
tomorrow.
you only
Sorry,
really
not next
have the
Tuesday.
next 3 hours to do that,
Yeah.
because we'll keep that up during the video gaming for relationship goals, but once Monopoly starts, we're all Monopoly, baby.
Yeah.
We're all Monopoly, so get your votes in now and help get us closer to that goal for today. So the rest of the week, we'll be posting that schedule in Slack, but it'll be a lot of fun. Wednesday's going to be a little bit unique in that we have a special stream that'll take all day to produce for, so we'll be starting a little bit later on Wednesday at 6 p.m., just because of this special stream. And then Thursday we'll be back to 4 p.m. We're going to be playing some Warhammer on Thursday because, I won my very first game, so I'm currently undefeated in Warhammer. And I'm sure that will continue. And then I'll get to win on Friday because we'll be playing Magic the Gathering as well. So, it's just going to be wins, wins, wins on top of wins. It's going to be a really good week for me with all the winning.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
You're way too competitive.
No, definitely not. No, definitely not.
He loves to just rub it in everybody's face that he wins at everything.
It's a community-driven channel, so Zach never wins anything. The chat, the audience, controls who wins and loses. Also, dice. I don't like dice.
Zach is a sore winner. That is well put. I agree with that.
I'm just keeping it fun, baby. I'm just keeping it fun. But I think outside of that, we took a little bit of a break over the weekend. Like I said, to Malibu. There was a mouse in our Airbnb, but it was
On
fine.
purpose or on accident?
Was
it a pet mouse
So-
that had in a...
No, so basically I bought some peaches as like a snack and I put them on the counter. And then I went to bed and then I woke up and it was half eaten. And I had also this Airbnb was near an orchard, so I had also picked some fruit. And something had eaten all the fruits and then also picked them up and carried them to other parts in the Airstream. And so I was like, Zach, are you half eating food and then strewing it all over the
I mean, that's not out of the ordinary.
Maybe I was sleepwalking. I don't know.
Because when we were sleeping,
Took
I
real
heard
tiny little bites.
and I thought it was outside. Little did I know it was right outside our door.
We were staying in an Airstream, so it was really small.
And next to an orchard, so it was kind of remote.
Lots of wildlife out in
Yeah.
the middle of nowhere. Way up on top of a mountain that I did not know it was.
It
and
ate
I
half
took my
a
bike,
peach.
and that was a bad idea. My legs are just wrecked. If I get cranky at all today, just know I'm on a lot of medication, and I am just, all sorts of chronic
You
pain
also
today.
have a face mask sunburn.
Cool, great. Good times.
It's very selective. It's only like some parts of your ears. You have
Okay.
stripes on your ears.
Okay. Well, Before we get into some of the other stuff I know Malika wanted to talk about, and maybe you guys want to talk about as well, I did want to quickly remind everybody, if you are a new viewer or you're tuning in and you are not a subscriber, please do think about subscribing with Twitch Prime. Your Amazon Prime can be linked to your Twitch, and you can subscribe to HyperRPG for free, or subscribe. That would be really helpful. We are about 250 below average right now after those last 2 weeks of very spotty schedule. Our schedule and lack of streaming as much, the thing where I start to see it hurt the most is our sub number.
Yeah.
Sub number is where it definitely starts to be like hitting right in the gut. So if you want to subscribe, we'd really appreciate it, and we'll keep trying to make really cool content for you to watch and participate in here at HyperRPG. Lucas, you also had a pretty eventful weekend, right?
Yeah. You want me to talk about it?
No.
Nah, dude.
Yeah, I went out and did some protesting.
It's awesome.
It was great. I went with a group. We went downtown LA, and it was really freaking cool because it was thousands of people. We were marching through the streets, and a lot of us were in the very front of the marches. We basically shut down several streets, which I think is good. That's the kind of stuff that makes people pay attention. But it was all very safe. We used in case there's any cops watching. But it was cool. On the second protest, I mean, it was just something that was really cool to be a part of. And it was very peaceful, and it was a really actually like very positive protest, which I know that a lot of them have been. There was a lot of music and singing, and it's just like celebrating Black culture. We marched on the second march. It was like the sun was setting, and we were walking through downtown LA and marched to the Staples Center, where a lot of people were chanting Kobe and crying. It's just a really cool thing to be a part of. And then, do you guys want to hear about the other stuff I did over the weekend?
Yeah, sure. Did you make any bread?
No.
No, then.
Yesterday, I watched a couple movies. I watched 1917 and drank a whole bunch of whiskey. And then watched Jarhead and remembered that war's not cool. Those movies were both really upsetting.
Wait, what was your mindset going into them and your expectations?
Well, okay, and I love movies like this, like 1917 and like Jarhead, but there are some war movies that kind of glorify it. But those are two movies that are on the opposite end of like, yo, don't fight each other and kill each other. This is bad. So it was pretty sad.
Good story, bro.
That was my weekend, I think. I think that was everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get a chance to check out Searching?
No.
You really should.
I might watch that tonight. I might watch a couple movies tonight. I'm trying to catch up on everything I missed last year. So last night was 1917. I need to watch Honey Boy. That's big on the list. I've pretty well caught up with everything else. Jojo Rabbit's on the list.
That's a good one.
I think I've caught up with everything
JoJo's
else.
great.
Yeah. 1917 was great. You guys
Yeah.
all saw that?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I went. I saw it in a theater with Emily and Matt, and we were just sat there and we're like, "This is so well done! Holy shit!"
Yeah. I'll say like the writing and story. I don't know if it was based on true events or not.
Loosely based on his grandfather.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I saw that at the end. I was like,
grandfather,
okay. I thought that was just like whatever. I thought the directing was really good, but I think the spectacle of the camera work is what made the tension. And it was like it's just
You
like
want him to cut.
a simple
You're like, God, I
story.
need a break.
Yeah.
A simple story like that can be totally driven by good camera work, and you don't see that often.
I think that movie also did an incredible job incorporating visual effects seamlessly.
Yeah.
Because there's parts in the nighttime sequences where they don't even have a real fire; it's just lights, and they completely composite in fire, and you would never be able to tell that it wasn't real. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
That movie is and looks so good.
What about you there, buddy?
Dog Sat.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
He was fun.
I heard you yell at him later. Did he do something? Or were you
When?
yelling at something else?
Last night?
Yeah.
Last night? Oh, yeah, because I went up the stairs. So I let him out to go to the bathroom. And when he goes poop, he gets the zoomies. And so he had his rope, and he started throwing the rope around. As I went up the stairs, he hit the legs on the tripod, and the camera started going like this. And I was like, Oh God, please don't fall over and break.
I'm pretty
Thankfully not.
You guys can see the metal trash can in the background
Yeah.
there. They can't see the dent, but
There's a dent in
Yeah.
it.
but I'm pretty sure my dog
Yeah.
dented
Oh, yeah.
our metal trash can.
Yeah, he does
Oh,
that
yeah.
to your knees sometimes. It's real great.
Yeah, he did to Emily over the weekend, and she was not happy. And I'm like, well, then you just get away from him when he's got that rope. He's dangerous. Did a lot of cooking. Emily really wanted to watch When They See Us. I couldn't put myself through that emotional headspace.
Again.
2 days in a row.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
We watched that last week.
Yeah.
Keep
It's
an eye on
so
our.
good.
I say this often, and I'll say it again. Keep an eye on our Discord. If you have Discord notifications turned off, you're missing out on a lot of really great stuff that we do here at Hyper RPG. And we've been watching really important films on Discord together as a group, and they've been challenging but very rewarding to watch as a group and talk about them and have those discussions. But speaking of Discord, I think you have something you want to talk about, correct?
Yeah, I have this letter I posted. I think I should read it, and I should probably talk about it whenever you guys are ready.
Go for it.
Okay. Well, because of the way the platforms work, I can post a letter, and we can have 8,000 followers on Facebook, but
Right.
there's only it reached only 200 people so
Right.
far, so it's kind of hard to say a thing. But I've been struggling to put together a letter for the Thumper community, and so this is my attempt at that.
Okay.
Hello, Thumper family. Thank you for showing up last week to listen, discuss, and learn from each other. I recognize my position of leadership within the Hyper crew and community, and I want to thank each of you from the bottom of my heart for showing us time and time again that that through our countless adventures over the years, we are here to create a community of compassion and learning. That being said, I have personally struggled to create a specific and singular message for HyperRPG as a company during this time. But after some deep reflection, learning, and support, I realized that writing one letter for the entirety of the Thumper family was the wrong thing to do. Over the past week, I have felt an immense and immediate increase in pressure to educate in my own white, male-dominated company, community, and industry, pressure to make white people feel okay, internalized racism and self-hatred, fear of the police, fear of the government, imposter syndrome, and extreme loneliness and abandonment, and also how many times I cry per day. I recognize the argument that now is not the time to talk about how I feel as a person with multiple privileges, but it is only through my own personal experiences that I have been able to realize that self-identifying persons of color in the HyperRPG community might also feel the need for our own private space for healing, empowerment, and affirmation. This is why I have decided to start a private Discord room for self-identifying persons of color in our community. If you would like to join me there, please just message mods be allowed in. And then the rest is just kind of weekly update stuff.
Now, do you want to elaborate?
I'm already kind of panicking, so why don't you, maybe you guys can help ask the questions and I can answer them.
And this is something I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
But I think something that's been really eye-opening for me is how nervous you are about saying this.
I'm
You've been freaking out.
I've been freaking out for a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess where I start to see my own ignorance is I'm in a position where I'm just like, why are you freaking out? You're our leader. You're our boss. We trust you. We love you. We'll follow your lead. If that's what you want and you want to talk about it, we're here for you. We got your back. And I feel like the community would do the same. And, I can only think off the top of my head out of our thousands of followers on Twitch, one person who might be like, this isn't fair. It's exclusionary towards people who are white. And you know what? Fuck them,
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that, and I've been doing a lot of self-reflection and learning over this week, and it's wrong to. It's hard to do the right thing. I think everybody feels that already. Mm-hmm. There's been an outcry in the Asian community to talk to your own communities about anti-blackness.
Hey, we're in the middle of a fucking discussion. All right, they're going outside. You keep talking.
I mean, I want you to be here for it.
Come on, outside.
You heathens! Have no respect.
Kaiju was
Kaiju,
chasing
get the
a fly.
farts out of here.
He thought that it would be a good time to chase that fly.
Let's go. Go.
Oh, he's being bad.
He had that like dog smile.
He's like outsmarted.
Kaiju, you're going to be on detention for the rest of your fucking adult life.
It's okay.
Kaiju, sit. Sit.
It kind of breaks.
They know they're in trouble, so
It breaks the tension. But also like, if I'm doing the wrong thing for Black Lives right now.
well, okay. But I know you were asking for my advice earlier, and I feel bad because I just keep telling you I don't feel like I'm the person that should be giving it to you.
Right, which also makes me feel very isolated and abandoned.
I know.
At the same time,
I know.
because I don't feel like I have a lot of resources to
Right.
talk to.
And, well, I want you to be able to talk to me about it and share, but I don't feel right telling you what you should do because I want you to trust yourself. Because only you can speak to your experience. And I think you're over worrying about people saying you're not doing the right thing for Black Lives. If someone was to say that, it would be discrediting all the other things you're doing. This is one thing to try to make people of color in our community like yourself, like you feel isolated right now, feel less isolated and feel like they have a support network within our community. And I think that's important. It's very clearly important to you. And I don't think anyone would take that and say it's the wrong thing to do for Black Lives. I think that your fear is paralyzing you a little bit right now. And I don't think that I have a hard time even talking on that because your fear is valid.
Right, and so because we have a predominantly white audience, community, the neighborhood I live in, the
Yeah.
school I went to, the state I grew up in, like my life, they're silent on these issues because the message is to listen, but then I don't have anybody validating me at all. And I feel an enormous pressure to do the right thing. Enormous pressure. And I recognize, I saw something online that helped me a lot, and it's interesting how things that I learned from being a part of that cancer community has taught me things that I think can apply in the race conversation. In that, and some of you guys may have, I forgot the name of the writer, but this was created to support breast cancer patients, where in the center of the circle, there's the person that's hurting the most, and they get to kind of say anything. It could be mean, it could be hurtful, that kind of thing. And then around that person who has cancer, they're the closest members, like their spouse, their siblings, their parents, they can kind of go out and, share with like neighbors and maybe their church community about how they're feeling, but they can't go into that circle and complain back to the person who's suffering. So, I was reading this one piece where, right now, the concentric circles of support and care and love, like Black people should be in the middle of that. But at the same time, I can't complain to Black people, but I can complain to other people who feel less marginalization, So I think that diagram helped me feel like I found some place.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as a Southeast Asian person and an immigrant, I feel deeply alienated from the Asian American community in America and Los Angeles. And so when I read things about what Asian people should be doing, the tone and language a lot of those articles are written in are exclusionary to people like me, you know? And so I realize, though, one of the things that I feel is, and I'm a part of, is a system of colorism where, and I did my own self-searching a couple years ago when I took the implicit bias test. You guys know what that is? Yeah, where I feel negatively towards darker skin colors, including myself. So that's when I say self-hatred and stuff like that. I have always been surrounded by images and messages that paler skin is better. And so, you know, I think other people of color need to practice compassion and self-compassion if we want to help, right? Because, and many of these things are deeply, deeply complex, and a lot of people in our community might not relate to them or have studied some of these deeper topics. I realize I have the privilege that I had a black female gender studies professor. You know, I've gotten to study these types of topics like many, many times. I sought them out as a college student and as like an activist in school. But I realize, like, in my community, if our Asian brothers and sisters hate our darker skinned Asian brothers and sisters, or hate ourselves for having darker skin, how can we love and relate to and, you know, support fully, you know, Black lives?
Yeah.
So that is kind of, you know, there was somebody in our community who was really wise and said things like colorism, they require an insider and outsider perspective, which is very exhausting to occupy and explain to outsiders.
Understood.
So I'm very tired.
I know. I think the only piece of advice I can share with you, and I said it yesterday and I'll say it again today, and I think you should see from just the support you're getting from our audience. If it's important to you and you think it's a good idea, trust yourself and trust your instincts. If somebody says, I don't think this is a good idea, listen to them. They might have a point, but the point overall is you're trying to do the right thing, and you're trying to create a place to help other people in the same situation as you, and that's what's important, is you're trying. And I understand we live in a position right now, and I think part of what bothers me too is to know, and this is where I get frustrated with our own community of like-minded, very progressive, wanting to do the right thing people. We start to paralyze ourselves with being so worried with doing the right thing. Whereas I can tell you, a lot of people that don't think about these things, they don't give a fuck. But you do care. You care so much that you're worried about offending one person or two people. And it's the right thing to do because it's important to you, and you think it could help other people in the community who also need that. So it's the right thing to do, and you're trying to do the right thing, and that's important enough. And if somebody has a problem with it, you know, we can deal with that, and we can listen, and we can try to do better like we've done since the start, and we will make mistakes as we go, but I don't want you to be paralyzed by that fear.
I mean, there's like a lot of things for me to be afraid of right now.
Yeah.
And I have PTSD. I've been diagnosed as I have CPTSD, which they're still working on adding to the diagnostic manual, which is a complex form of PTSD. It wasn't one single event in my life that traumatized me so much. It was a mix of many, many, many events. And many of those, I want to say maybe all of them, have been racialized as well. So for me, I can't separate that.
Yeah.
But, you know, Saturday morning, I know you said we try to get out this weekend because it was our wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
And I really struggled to find any joy.
Yeah.
And I'm ashamed to admit that to you.
No, it's fine.
You know, I don't want to say like...
It's one day out of many. We're fine.
I don't want to say to
We're
my
fine.
own husband that I'm not happy, you know? But, I like cried 3 or 4 times. I stopped keeping count just driving to like where we were going to meet up, you know, and just like zoning out. And I know you wanted me to meet you up at a certain place, and I was late because I couldn't get myself together.
It's fine.
And I realized I felt a lot of pain and a lot of exhaustion, and I didn't know why. And I think part of it was we've spent a week doing these discussions, and I feel the pressure to be the educator in the room, as the only woman, as the only like brown person, as like the whole bunch of stuff. It's Pride Month. I'm straight as a rainbow, like just like a lot of different stuff. So feeling exhaustion, and then realizing though, when we address our community, we all assume a default of usually a white person.
Yeah.
And recognizing if I feel alone, if nobody is seeing me, if I feel isolated and abandoned, other people in our community might also feel that way, because we're always talking about what white people should do and listening to what white people tell us to do. Allyship and activism is drowned out by white voices. But at the same time, I was trying to think of, you were like, what do you need? And I didn't even know. And I've had a few opportunities in my life where I'm very lucky because I had a black teacher, or I have a person of color professor or something, where I have felt moments of affirmation, of empowerment and healing in a different way. And so I realized that, if anybody feels the way I do, because nobody's alone in anything, In our darkest moments, you have to learn, like, nobody's alone in everything. You're like, that's why depression kills people,
Yeah.
right? And that there's other people in our community that feel that way, and I don't really have the energy to explain this, but I'm just going to say it. There's this concept called performing whiteness. And the black community call each other out on this, the Asian community, people of color, all that kind of immigrants. There's this concept called performing whiteness. And it's an exhausting procedure that people like me do, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously, for our own survival, out of our own fear, that hurts people like me. I hurt myself doing it. I hurt white people who are trying to learn, and I hurt black lives when I perform whiteness. And I'm still struggling to do more introspection to outline what those bullet points are when I perform whiteness, or I crumble to the pressure of making like white people feel better. Sometimes because I love them and I work with them. It's very complex, but at the same time recognizing if I feel like, internalized racism, self-hatred, disappointment in myself, imposter syndrome, some of that is because of this fear that's paralyzing me, and thus out of like survival. I'm not saying that it's right, but out of like a feel for survival, I am doing this thing that some people call performing whiteness. So, I really enjoy the clubhouses. I thought it would be cool if we could talk more about this stuff, in the thumper community. There's 3 of you and there's only 1 of me. I figured maybe you guys can help white people figure themselves out.
We've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah,
it's fine.
like you guys can do that, because I need a break, and I also want to focus on the people who probably need it more.
Yeah. Nobody's asking you to put in more than you can or you're comfortable. Somebody in the chat said protect your energy, and I think that's a really good way to look at it. Like, your pain is valid through all this. Like you said, as the only woman here, as the only person of color here, there is a lot of pressure, and you're the CEO, and you're having to answer.
Oh, I still have to like do my regular job.
Yeah.
Like make sure everybody's paycheck is paid and fill those bills.
And one of the reasons you and I wanted you to be the CEO was to be to put our money where our mouth is, and put a person of color in charge to make these decisions. And that's why I don't want you to feel like we don't care. We trust you to make the right decision. If we think it's wrong, we'll speak up, but otherwise we're here to support you, and we're here to give you a support network to make the changes within this community, within this. And when I say community, I don't just mean Hyper RPG. I mean like.
I mean, we are part of a bigger community.
Yeah.
We are part of a community of Angelinos. We're a part of a community as Americans, of online content creators, of Twitch streamers, of people in tabletop. And that's why I added those notes about, because I can't separate what we do here and how we affect the tabletop industry, for example, or gaming or entertainment. And so for me, I need to recognize those like intersections.
Mm-hmm. So we trust you. We'll follow your lead. I don't think you need to stress about whether or not something's the right choice if it feels right to you. Because you're not a shitty person. You know what I mean? Like, if you were a shitty person, we might all be sitting around being like, I don't know, maybe we should question this. But you're a good person, and you're overly...
With good intentions.
Yeah, you have good intentions. So trust your heart and follow it.
Thanks.
And overall, what that means for you all in the community is if you are a person of color in our community,
Okay, you say that, but I have some plans for us in the club.
Okay, if you're a person of color in the community, hit up a mod and they can give you access to this special Discord room. And it, like Malika just explained everything for why that room exists. But if you are a person of color in our community, hit up a mod and they can give you access.
Yeah, so we can like do fun stuff. Well, it's okay. Look, I started training at the improv schools in LA because I was like, yo, I'm in LA. I can do this now. And then like we work with great improvisers, and I'm like, I wanna have that amount of talent that they do. Just like if I could have what you have in your pinky kind of feeling. And for the first time, like I had this one improv teacher that was black, and we had a one-on-one, and he had this conversation with me that will forever change my life. It was a life-changing 15-minute talk where he said, why don't you perform more characters from your background? And I was like, thank God. Oh my God, I'm so fucking, like, I needed to hear that so bad, and I needed to hear that from somebody else who fucking gets it. And I said, oh my God, thank you for asking me, because I feel like I didn't even feel safe to like talk about that or bring it up in class or that kind of thing. And, he said that only I have the power to have that conversation, and that's a superpower. And I needed to hear that as a storyteller, as a person who, is the only brown Asian in my like film class, those kinds of things. And I realized it was only like 15 minutes with a really incredible teacher who saw me. And when you realize, you've gone through your whole life, you've barely felt that kind of affirmation because nobody gets you and nobody sees you. I'm looking for opportunities like that, in that person of color group. Maybe we can do some healing exercises, reach out to other resources so that we feel like we can share our story and escalate concerns in our community, right? Because sometimes other people have to do that. And so I thought if we have this group, we can escalate these concerns in Hyper RPG as a community, and also tabletop and gaming and all that kind of stuff, storytelling.
So hit up a mod. Like we said, you can hit them up in the chat room as a whisper, or you can hit them up in Discord, and they will get you set up. And that's one of your initiatives you'll be working on moving forward.
Yep.
Do you guys have anything else to add? We've got about 5 minutes left in the show.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah, no, I think I get like the paralyzing fear. Obviously, I don't know anything that you're going through, but I think people are seeing intentions first, and I've had a couple to relate it to my own life. The last Tuesday, I was posting stuff on Instagram, like very early morning, like stories. I was unaware that it was like hey, we're gonna try to amplify Black voices today. I don't spend enough time scrolling Instagram to even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
And one of my friends just hit me up and was like, hey, just so you're aware, we're trying not to like post anything today. And it was like a nice thing.
Yeah.
And I've seen a few other people that have been, I think, saying being called out is like the wrong thing, because it's only ever been like, we understand your intentions. Everyone understands, like, we're all on the same side here. And I think it's very obvious that you're on the good side. So it's like, it's really hard to know what the right thing is to say. But I think we all know that we're coming from a place of good. And it's very clear who the people who are like bad actors are. And you're not one of them.
I do want to say, because I saw this beautiful thing, if in the past you said hashtag all lives matter, and today you're trying to examine, do I have the courage to say hashtag Black Lives Matter, or not use the hashtag? I don't even know. But, we embrace that change, and that you're still welcome here, and this is a place for learning, and I don't, it's not, us against the people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a place for learning. I will say that. I will also say my patience is thin.
Yeah.
It's a place for learning, but patience is thin. If your intentions are wrong, or if you have a bad faith argument, or you are a bad actor who's creating those devil's advocate, conversations to like poke and prod, no time. There's no time for that anymore right now. And just like, fuck you. Like, no, don't have time for that. We're not going to put up with that. If you truly do have good in your heart and you're trying to be the best person that you can be, and you have questions, I want us to be the kind of community where we can educate, and we can grow, and we can be better. And because I've said this before, and I'll say it again, like, I've become a better person since I started streaming on Twitch 5 years ago. I know that to my core. I've become a better person. And as much as we give to the community kind of gives back. And I meet you at cons. We have conversations in Discord or on Twitter. I'm growing and learning from you too. It's not just a one-way street. It's a conversation. And I've grown a lot over the years because of our community and how we hold each other accountable to be better people. And I want to always welcome that. But patience is thin, very thin, if your intentions are not true and honest. Anything else that we want to add before we have to,
Go downstairs.
Go downstairs and be really silly and play video games for 2 hours?
Well, I need that, and I was just scrolling the Nintendo store, and I was like, this looks like a really well designed game, so I'm excited to check that out. And it's a lot of things aren't binary, so is it irresponsible to do escapism, but at the same time, like, I need an emotional break from the work that I'm doing. And I also see people of color in our community who have been showing up and have been brave and sharing their stories, and like, they must be tired, because we were already tired.
Yeah. And that is, we understand, one of the tough things about our network, and we fight and argue, not fight, but we theorize what we should do in the middle of all these things all the time, because we know that we have, and this isn't just us, this is Twitch in general, and especially the TTRPG scene, a predominantly white audience. and now feels like the time to educate and change for the better. But at the same time, we have to be providing for the people of color in our community. And what do they need? And what do they want out of us right now? And we're demanding so much from, the white viewers in our audience. So I appreciate you, Malika, bringing these concerns up and bringing them to the forefront. And,
I mean, it took me a while to even process, like, why I'm upset. Sometimes you have to cry, like, a couple times.
Yeah.
To be like, I don't even know what the wounds are, because I don't have a lot of guidance for leadership here either. I have a lot of great business mentors. They're all white men.
Yeah.
Like that's like a whole other thing.
Yeah, and we've had discussions with some of those mentors particularly.
And they're good people, and I love them, and I fucking appreciate them. But like, I don't like know who to talk to about some of this stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, moving forward, that was a very great discussion. Thank you, Malika, for being vulnerable and sharing with us and with the community. I know it's hard, so thank you for opening up. And thank you all for watching and being a part of these conversations. For those that don't tune out, I really mean it. Thank you. We've been having a lot of very tough conversations the last couple weeks, and I know that you probably come to Twitch for escapism, for a chance to turn off the world, and we've been not really letting that happen. So I appreciate you all being with us as we have these talks, and being reflective as we do our Discord watch-alongs, and just trying to be better people. And that's what we have to keep striving for, I think, in this world. So coming up next, we are going to be playing some Moving Out relationship goals with Malika and I. I'm going to order some coffee because holy fuck.
We also should consume calories.
Food as well.
I always mess up the quote, like you can't fill up other cups if yours is empty.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Can't fill cups.
Empty
if yours
cup
is
right
empty.
now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to order some food. We're going to show you some commercials for a little bit as we move downstairs to get ready for our next setup. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. We're going to be having some fun. In that downtime, why don't you guys start voting for what script you want us to read tomorrow? Nobody's voted for the Star Wars, and I want to do the Star Wars more than anything. I don't think they realize how fucking crazy weird it is.
It's out there.
It's out there. It is so weird.
There's references to the prequels in that 74 script that are not seen for 30 years. It's wild.
It's wild. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
And it really makes you respect how script changes can make something better.
Yeah.
'Cause it's awful.
I would like more opportunities to try to be Chewbacca.
Well, there you go. So you can vote on that in the downtime. Thank you all so much for participating. For those that are getting the occasional buffering, I don't know what's going on. We're getting the occasional connection is too slow notification in our live stream app. So we have probably some spectrum issues, but the stream's still up. We're still live, and we'll be right back in a little bit. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy these clips while you wait.